my people. It's Dahlia.
And Nicole.
And Mrs. Quiche My Ass. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We're tired. We worked last night. Late night.
There's a loud car driving by. Don't mind it.
Yeah, we had to move. We're not actually in our studio right now because there's a one-person party outside blasting music. So
like the loudest music, and there is only one person. Is somehow it's radiating all the way inside the house.
Yeah, into the second bedroom. It's not even. There's no window.
Yeah.
So we're here. It might sound a little different. We're sorry. But Nicole, you have any news for this week?
No, I mean, news for this week is we're exhausted.
Yeah, we are exhausted. Nicole was my boss last night, so back to being boss.
Barely.
Boss Nicole.
I just joined the party and
we worked next door, and I worked next door doing the catering. Thomas did the bartending, and Nicole did the barking.
Actually, I just showed up when the party was just starting, and
there was some drunk people.
I know. A man who married two women with the same name. I mean, these people are crazy.
Two women with the same... Katie. We could say Katie.
Yeah.
He's not listening. Nick, he's also a lawyer, and so is his ex-wife. We knew everything, and then he didn't know how we knew everything, and it's because of the wife. She told us everything. Once you get a few straight-up vodkas in you...
It all comes out.
Yeah, and me and Nicole definitely... I feel like we are always the people that everyone goes to for all their problems when they're drunk.
Yeah, when you're cooking in a kitchen and the party's happening upstairs, that's when they come in and they're like, oh my gosh, guess what? I need someone to talk to.
Yeah,
but
it's like we're the therapists of the party.
I think so.
Which is funny, but at the same time, like, all right... And then the husband came in, and we were like, oh, we know who you are.
Yeah.
We know that you have kids. It's the Brady Bunch. And also never get married is his number one advice to everyone.
Well, too late for that. We're getting married. So
not me and you. You and the ghost host.
But you could if you wanted to. Anyways,
thank you for the permission. I'm allowed to get married, guys. Appreciate it. Love it.
I'm going to change the subject and tell everyone that we don't have a guest today.
No, I'm the guest, actually.
Yeah, I guess Dahlia is the guest. We wanted to start this episode, I wanted to talk about cookbooks.
Which I'm like, yawn. Because I want to bring up there's cookbooks, and then there's food bloggers.
And which one?
I like food blogging.
Do you actually food blog?
No, I don't food blog. I read
But
food
you like
blogs.
to read food blogs.
I like to read food blogs. Can I do a shout out for two food bloggers that I'm obsessed with? Okay, so there's two food bloggers I'm absolutely obsessed with, and I've been following them for years. I think I've been following this lady. She's a wife and mom and a recipe developer. Her name is Alex Snodgrass. She's from Texas, and she's called The Divine Dish is the name of her cookbook. And it's just healthy. Of her cookbooks.
Okay.
And it's just healthy. She does Whole30 recipes, but like she's just so cute and genuine. Like she shows her kids and makes like pancakes for them in the morning, but then she like makes herself like breakfast tacos. And like I like seeing what food bloggers make every day. With cookbooks, on the other hand, like you just have to go out, buy the book, and read it and look through the pictures. And then another one, her name is Tegan, I'm going to say this wrong, Gerard. And her Instagram name is Half Baked Harvest. And she started like almost 10 years ago. And she has 3 million followers.
I don't think I've ever heard of either of those people.
She's very popular. Like this girl, Tegan, is so popular. She's New York Times bestselling author of Half Baked Harvest Super Simple Cookbook. And I think she makes more money just posting on Instagram than she does on her cookbooks. Because every day she posts at least 2 recipes. It's a lot of work. I think this is harder than actually doing a cookbook.
Well, I think a cookbook is something you do and you work really hard for like maybe 3 months or 6 months, and then that's it. But a food blog, it's every single day you
Every
have to
single
do
day.
it. Otherwise, people are like, okay, well, you're not giving anything new, and then why
Yeah.
do it? But I find the problem, and I guess it's the same with cookbooks, but so many food bloggers, it's like you don't even get to read about the recipe. I think you get their life story before you get their recipes. Or how do you know who's a good blogger, whose recipes are good to follow and whose are not?
I think Half Baked Harvest, I think that she's super reputable. Like, so many people. I follow Gigi Hadid on Instagram, and she posts her recipes, which is like crazy to think that, like, celebrity. Imagine you had, like, recipes you put online, and then all of a sudden, like, you see celebrities posting, like, hey, I love this recipe, so much fun. Like, that's awesome.
Do you think Gigi Hadid was actually cooking it herself or her private chef was cooking it for her?
No, I think some people actually cook for themselves. Not all the time, but I do think people cook for themselves.
If you were rich, would you cook for yourself or hire someone to do it?
Oh, if I was rich, soon enough. Let me think. I'm trying to think. Would I cook for myself? I wouldn't want the same person cooking for me. I would love if it was like different cuisines every night. Like a different like cultured chef coming in every night to do it. That would be fun.
Yeah, and I think that that's pretty common. There's so many families like with private chefs that I've known, or not families that I've known, but chefs where they actually have alternating chefs. Like they have.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, do you think I'm gonna have that?
That can be your dream. That's fine. That's what you want.
No,
So-
not me. Do you think my family that I work for is gonna do that?
Oh, no. I don't think they're going to do that.
Okay.
Do you want them to?
No. I want to be the only chef.
Yeah, because then you have to share a kitchen. But it is a good way of like, you know, sometimes chefs get stuck in their own rut or they're doing just the same thing. So it's good for
Yeah.
new creativity
I
and to work
definitely
with
need
people.
creativity. So
Yeah.
I guess talking about cookbooks will help me out a little bit with the menu this week.
Oh, I have plenty. You can borrow. So I have a question for you. What was your first cookbook?
My first cookbook.
Do you know? Do you have any cookbooks?
I do have cookbooks. Actually, I could tell you my first cookbook. It was called All American Cookbook.
Okay.
And it was this big ass book, and it was sitting right by the toilet. So every time I needed to use the bathroom, I would go, this is like as a kid, and I would just flip through the pages. And it was all American food. So it was like fried chicken, and it was like, you know, baked beans, but like the proper way of baking beans. And like, it was fun, and I always wanted to make those dishes. But my dad does not cook American food at all. Like, at all.
Like, what does he cook mostly?
Uh,
I mean, I feel like I know, but I think that just so
No,
the viewers
I-
can know you a little bit more.
He's all over the place. He does a lot of Asian inspired food.
Really?
Yeah, he's all over the place. He does a lot of Mediterranean. Lots of stews.
Lamb.
No, because my mom doesn't like lamb.
Oh.
It's a lot of chicken stews, like with the bone and everything. Oh, so good. He uses a lot of red pepper paste,
Well, yeah. You've told me that before.
which is
You're like, we
crazy.
ran out of red pepper paste. I don't know how we're going to eat these chicken skewers.
Yeah, I was like, what? But yeah, so it was an American book, like an all American book.
And what's your most recent cookbook?
I don't have cookbooks at home.
Well, I just asked, and you were like, yeah, I have cookbooks.
Yeah, I do, but like I don't. My most recent one, oh my god, the one that you gave me, the French, they were selling it, and you bought me one,
Oh, I have that.
and they spelled omelet wrong, and there's a whole section on omelets, and they spelled it wrong, and I looked up the proper way of spelling omelet because I'm like, am I going crazy?
No, that wasn't the only typo, but I think the versions that we got were the first.
ones,
Like,
yeah.
but it's still hilarious. Yeah, what was that, like, Cooking France or something? I think
Yeah, it
that
was
was the
like
name
cooking.
of it. Okay.
That one I actually liked because there was a lot of like pictures and drawings, and it was written. It wasn't like a cookbook to me. I don't know.
It was more of like a,
It was a bunch of chef inspirations,
yeah.
which I don't mind. But is that a cookbook? Is that considered a cookbook?
It was a cookbook because there are recipes there.
Oh, I do have a favorite cookbook.
What is it?
I don't know if it's considered it's not a cookbook. The Flavor Bible.
That's a cook. I think that the Flavor Bible is a cookbook. Like, not necessarily, but it gives you information.
Like, if you go to Barnes and Nobles, it's in the cookbook section.
Yeah.
That's a fucking good book.
I have the Flavor Bible, and I think I've only opened it like 3 times.
Wow. I have recipes like in there. Like my own recipes like in there.
That's
and like
crazy.
Menus lined up, like ready to go.
But I
should look
think
for
I
it.
use books more for inspiration. Like, I'm not reading the recipes, you know? Like, I'm really just opening the books, looking at the pictures, looking at the ingredients, and then I'm like, okay, well, that's what I want to cook, or it was really helpful. And I'm sure you, as a private chef, like, just trying to figure out what to do today.
Yeah, like the next thing I want to do.
But
I guess I should start looking into more cookbooks.
I have a guilty pleasure cookbook that is weird. It's one of the only cookbooks that I actually will follow a recipe for.
What is it?
It's Mario Batali's Babbo cookbook.
You do like that one.
I don't know why. I think like
What's like a recipe in there? Like if it's an example of a recipe that's in there.
they have pasta, and it's like a pasta dish with pancetta and parsnips
Okay.
and butter, and it's just so good and simple. You like crisp up the pancetta,
Yes.
toss in the parsnips,
You
the
don't want
pasta.
rubber pancetta.
No, you do not.
Ew.
Or they have like this goat cheese and orange ravioli. Like, I don't know why, but I really, really love this book. And most of my other cookbooks I've opened once, twice, and I'm like, okay, that's it, you know. But this one, I don't know why I love it. It is Mario Batali, so, you know, maybe it's the ponytail.
I was gonna say R.I.P., but not really.
No, but he's canceled for sure.
Super canceled.
Yeah, super canceled, not coming back, but the cookbook's good.
You think he's a secret investor still?
I don't know.
Do you think people like actually put like he won't put his name out there?
Maybe not. I don't think he is a secret investor in the restaurants he like separated from, but I'm sure there are things he is still
'Cause
involved
he was
in.
part of Italy.
Yeah.
So, like, do you think he's still part of it?
I don't know. There's some things, because it was his first, you can't totally take him out completely. I mean, you can take away his decision making, but if it was his money to begin with, you can't take his money.
But was it his money?
No, I don't think it was.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we're going away from that one. And the orange Crocs.
And the orange Crocs.
And the orange Crocs.
The horrible orange Crocs. So another thing I wanted to talk about is how bad cookbooks are.
Okay. Do you think they're all bad?
No.
Okay.
But I don't think they're accurate. I think that there's so much information that cookbooks are lacking to make recipes successful.
Like they should always be in grams.
Like, for sure, they should always be in grams, and home cooks need to learn how to use a scale.
I think using a scale is 10 times easier than using measuring cups.
And it's so much more accurate.
But I don't think people realize that. Like at home cooks don't, even in kitchens though, they don't enforce it.
No, I mean, in French kitchens, yeah. It's not like you're using a cup of flour at Restaurant Danielle. You know what I mean? Like, everything's grams, everything's Celsius. But I think that, yeah, my first kitchen job for sure, it was cups and
Ounces.
But it's interesting.
Yeah, same.
It's like, I don't know. I think people are scared, like the famous chefs who are making these cookbooks that people love to buy. They're really nervous to, one, put how much salt they're actually adding to the food, and two, how much fat or butter or oil
That's true.
that they're adding. Because when you look at it on paper, it looks like, oh, that's a lot of oil, and you need it. You do. But I find so many cookbooks have like inaccurate amounts of oil because it looks scary.
Yeah.
You're not going to, if you need a half a stick of butter, they're probably going to write a teaspoon or a tablespoon, when really it would be 10 times better if you added it all. And that's what the restaurants are doing. So I think that, one, it's good because obviously you want to be on the healthier side, but if you need more, use it. Add it in.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
I, I do prefer baking cookbooks than to savory cookbooks.
Because those are much more, they have to be more precise.
That and, like, I feel like I need to read a recipe in baking. I don't need to read, like, if I could see a picture of savory food and be like, okay, I know how to make that.
Right. You can just say, like, okay, I just needed the inspiration, and then that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
You already know it.
I already know. And even, like, savory cookbooks, I could just look at the pictures, yeah, and, like, read the titles and be like, oh, okay, cool, 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 cool. Like, awesome. But I do follow this. I had to unfollow this food blogger because she created a cookbook. She does not cook. She's not a chef.
Was it bad? Wait, why did you have to unfollow her?
She was just really annoying. She was really annoying on Instagram. And I just, like, and everyone was like, oh my God, I love your recipes. And I'm, like, reading the recipes, and I'm like, they're all the same. Like, they all have fucking eggplant in it. Like, they're all the same things. And I'm just like, this is a little too much.
Have you seen the books, what is it, Plenty and Plenty More?
That sounds familiar.
It's like from Yotam Ogun. I'm going to butcher that name, so I don't even want to say it.
Okay.
But they're really, I don't know why you said eggplant. And so I just thought because he has a lot of eggplant dishes because it's mostly vegetarian. It's all vegetarian, actually, I think.
Okay.
So maybe you should borrow them because I know you
Do you have it?
You have to cook vegetarian at home now.
Yeah.
But they're really inspiring. It's mostly Mediterranean, and I think you would love it.
Imagine this is the people that I actually can't stand.
No, I don't think so.
I'm looking it up, but I don't see anything.
I have them. I'll find them for you. And then this summer, or COVID, whatever you want to call it, it was a whole year. It wasn't a summer. Thomas, our ghost host, was absolutely obsessed with the book on pie from Aaron McDowell.
And it was good.
He was making pies every day. It was so bad. I'm like, he made blueberry corn pie. Oh, here goes another car.
Oh, sorry, guys.
He made blueberry corn pie. He
How
made
was that?
chocolate cherry
Blueberry
pie.
corn pie.
It was really good. It was like a custard center.
Did he make the crust and everything too?
Yeah, he made brown butter crust. He made all these things. And he's asking me, like, how do I do this? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not a baker.
Like, definitely not. That's so funny. I looked at Plenty More.
I think I have it. I can grab it.
Yotam Ottolenghi.
Yeah.
Looks really good. Looks delicious. He has, like, gluten-free scones with za'atar and feta. Fuck me up. Yum. British asparagus with black garlic.
Did you say British asparagus?
That's what it says here.
What's British asparagus?
British asparagus season. Maybe just asparagus and see, like, I think when I see sweet things on Instagram, it goes straight to it because I'm like, how do you make that? What is that?
Because you don't know how to do it.
Because I don't know how to do it. Like, I can't just look at it and be like, wow, this is just
burnt eggplant with tahini.
Burnt eggplant with tahini.
And the pictures are beautiful.
That's another thing. I just put on our Instagram because I was asking you guys, like, what kind of cookbooks you like. And I was looking through a cookbook, and it was all words. Who's reading that?
Nobody. They're not buying it either.
No, like, also, I that's the one thing I want to look up. Like, cookbook sales. Like, how much money do cookbooks make?
I think that
year?
they make quite a lot because, I mean, I don't know what's like a lot, actually. But I think that they do well because so many people want to learn how to cook. The problem is when you search for a recipe online, you don't know who to trust.
But that's, like, what YouTube is for now. Like, you could just look it up and see how to make it visually. You know what I mean?
That's true.
That's why I'm like, why do... Sorry, guys. Interruption. And I think, like, cookbooks... So I'm reading an article right now about the HuffPost. Unless you're Chrissy Teigen, most cookbook authors aren't in it for the money. Which you would think they are. So they're in it to what?
they're in it to showcase it's like showcasing their own flavor profile. I don't know. I mean, would you ever write a cookbook?
No.
No.
I would sell my products before I sell a cookbook.
Okay. I think that I would like to, and I've said this before to Thomas, like I think there needs to be like a cookbook. Like somebody.
The fuck does
no,
that
I know
mean?
it's confusing, but there's so much.
Cookbook of all cookbooks.
No, there's so much that cookbooks leave out, and I think that, like for example, it says season at the end. When you're cooking caramelized onions? When do you add salt?
In the beginning.
In the beginning. Okay, do cookbooks say that? No, but it's something that us chefs know that just innately. We'd never have to read it. We just look at a picture and we know it. The same with when you salt mushrooms.
In the beginning.
This is a trick question. But yes, in the beginning.
Why is it a trick
I don't know.
question?
Somebody, I asked somebody that before and they told me at the end. And I was like, I think it depends on the mushroom.
Was this a chef?
It was a chef, yeah. And we were having a debate. We weren't having a debate because her and I were on the same side. It was Karen.
Okay.
My old roommate. Her and I were on the same side. But a place she worked insisted otherwise.
Really?
Yeah. And so she was like torn and she's like, I think it does depend on the mushroom. But you want to add it at the beginning.
Does it depend on
No,
the
it goes in
mushroom?
first.
I think like the only thing I really don't salt in the beginning is like leafy greens. I'd like to do it at the end.
Okay.
I don't like to. I think because I'm a very salt heavy on the
I'm a
hands.
salty person, yeah.
Yeah, so like if every time I put salt in the beginning of like my kale and then I cook it, I fuck it up like hardcore.
Because it just the way you see it. Yeah.
And but other than that, no. Like when they do say season it, and then they also say pinch. What the fuck is a pinch?
Yeah.
Because I'm like half a cup in my hand, like ready to go. I'll throw the rest over my shoulder.
Yeah, but everybody has a different idea of salt. Like, I think you and I probably have the same idea of salt. And my mom, because she's a smoker, she also really likes salt. But some
Smokers
people
like salt?
Yeah, because they taste less. They
lose
lose
their
their taste, so they need more salt.
Okay, got it.
So I think that salt is just... It's difficult. Like, I've worked for a client who wanted low sodium, and then I give her low sodium, and they're like, we want more flavor. And I'm like, yeah, well, if there was more salt in the food, it would be more flavorful.
True.
So it's like, it's a fine line that sometimes people don't even realize what's wrong with their dish is that it just needs more salt.
Yep. Literally.
That's sad.
It is sad, but these cookbooks aren't saying that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
These cookbooks aren't saying that. They're not talking about it.
Cookbooks aren't saying that, or they're not saying, like, you know, when you have a cold soup, who's making cold soup at home? Not many people.
Oh my God, I literally have to make cold soup this week.
Do you? What are you making?
I don't know yet. I think I want to do corn.
You should do corn.
And then I was thinking about like 3 other ones.
Gazpacho?
Yeah, that's cold soup. Thank you.
No, I was asking, is that what you're going to make?
Yeah, I have to make 4 cold soups.
Why 4?
Because it's a hot week. And I work 4 days this week.
Oh, so you make a different cold soup every day.
Yeah.
So you could do corn, you could do gazpacho, you could do...
I can't do too much tomato.
Melon?
I don't...
Cucumber soup? Cucumber and yogurt?
No dairy.
No dairy.
Yeah, no dairy in soups.
Okay.
I don't work with dairy with the family.
Okay.
Unless it's butter. Also, I just want to go back for like a 10-day photo shoot for a cookbook that this author was saying. It was $40,000 for a 10-day photo shoot for her cookbook. That's insane. And like that's like you have to spend so much money making an actual cookbook.
Yeah, I mean, the food, first of all, the first cost.
I know, and I don't think people even think about that.
That you have to buy multiple of each dish. You have to prep it. You have to maybe redo it. You have to have all the props, the plates, the forks, the knives, the lighting. You have to have the photographer. You have to have the location where you're going to do it. So it doesn't really surprise me. But is she the one that had the best selling
No,
book?
she's a mediocre.
Oh God.
She only made I think like 50 grand from the cookbooks.
And she spent 40.
Almost on, yeah.
So she made 10.
Yeah, I love how it says like why publish it at all. That's why like I know I think one of the first books in the world like ever was a cookbook.
Are you sure? How do you know
think
that?
so.
Or where do you have that information?
My mind, because I remember somebody saying this.
Okay. What?
I really think it was a cookbook though.
I'm going to look this up.
Okay, look it up. See if I'm right or wrong.
No. You're wrong. The first book ever written that we know of is The Epic of Gilgamesh, a mythical retelling of an important political figure from history. Years later, in 1454, the German man...
Wait, that's the first book ever?
Yeah. That's what this says.
I don't know if I believe that.
You don't believe that?
No.
You don't believe Google?
No, I don't actually. I don't believe Google. I feel like Google
What about the Old Testament? You think that came out first?
You should not be laughing. I believe cookbooks came out first. They were the first books ever.
It was just like one grandma to another grandma, like here, and it was probably just picture drawings.
Yeah. Or they're like weird language that we like have no idea what that means.
It's just scribbles and nobody can read it, but someone's trying.
It's a cookbook. It's a cookbook.
Was it written in stone?
It was written in clay.
Clay.
Clay with berries.
And twigs.
Oh, anyway, we're getting sidetracked. Sorry, guys. Even though we're talking about cookbooks.
So, one I did want to ask, like...
What did you want to ask me?
Lots of things. So, we went to different culinary schools, obviously.
Yes.
Did you keep all your cookbooks from culinary school?
They only gave us 3.
Really?
Yeah. What? How many did you get?
I don't know. I got, like, 3 for every class.
Oh, no.
Or 1 for every class.
No, we didn't even...
So you had...
It was a big textbook. We had, like, 3 big textbooks.
I mean, I had that, too. It's called On Cooking. This one?
Okay. No, we had, like, 3 big textbooks, and we barely used them.
And then I have, like, the Garmager book, the...
No, they like
Introduction to
combined it all in
Hospitality, International Cooking, all kinds of books. I'm just looking at
Wait,
them now.
I might have had we definitely did have just like a hospitality like front of the house book.
Yeah, but that's not a cookbook. I'm just thinking like.
No, we only had like we didn't even bring it to class.
And so when you had to do your recipes, did they come directly from the book or did you have like a different syllabus or something?
Yeah, it was a different. So each teacher would always have like different recipes like lined up for us to use. There was a lot of classes though where like we barely even had recipes. Like some of the classes, it was like when I was taking my wellness and sustainability class, it was senior level, so you didn't have recipes. It was like, here's your ingredients, go. So, and then we did have one class where there was recipes, but they were so hard that like we would have a time limit and like a lot of people couldn't do it.
What class was that?
Oh my god, what class was it? It was shout out to Brandon Lewis. He was like the best instructor ever at Johnson & Wales. I can't remember the name of the class. New Cuisine, I think was the name of it.
New Cuisine.
Yeah. And we had like a huge tasting like at the end of each like lab.
Right. Which is normal. You eat everything that you cook.
No. So like we invited like our bosses, our old chefs or
Oh.
teachers that we wanted to come, and it'd be 4 of them and they would pretty much like rate our group like about the meal. And like we would decorate it, like of course like I went all out.
Did you make the menu too?
So we each had a course, like me and like my team would have courses. So I remember like the one course I did, it was awesome. I did like what did I make? I made like a sunflower seed risotto with crispy pork belly and like kale chips, and I think I added other things to it, but it was so good. But it was my first time working with like a whole pork belly. And I didn't read any recipe. I did read a recipe. I think I read a recipe, but I don't remember who it was from.
What'd you do?
I think
Confit?
no, I think I used a pressure cooker for the first time.
Okay, that's the easy way to cook pork belly.
I was so confused on how to use a pressure cooker.
They're scary. It's like it could literally just explode in front of you.
So my dad uses a pressure cooker like once a week. And I thought, okay, it's a pressure cooker. Like, I've seen it so many times. No. And I think it was like right when like all the bombings for the pressure cookers were coming.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've heard so many things about it.
So, yeah. But I remember that I showed my chef the recipe that I wanted to follow because it was actually sunflower seed risotto. Like, there was no actual rice. And he was like, no, you can't do that. Like, he said, no, you can't do that.
And what happened?
I don't know why. Maybe it was like too much sunflower seeds or something. I don't remember. So I made rice and just folded in sunflower seeds.
When I ate at Mirezer in the south of France,
Yeah.
they had the most amazing sunflower risotto that I've ever had in my life. Not that like I've ever had sunflower risotto anywhere else, but they actually they had fresh sunflower seeds that were like never toasted, so they're raw. It was almost like little sesame seeds, like kind of, they were really tender. And then he garnished with, he had like the sprouts and the petals in the risotto too. So it was green, and it was so green and yellow and so beautiful and delicious with no rice.
I'm like trying to look it up.
What?
The sunflower seed recipe. I can't believe I remember that. That was like 7 years ago.
You had your own, or this is one that you found, right?
It's one that I found, but I'm like looking it up and I can never find it. Also, power of Instagram and all the food bloggers, it's easy access. For a cookbook, not easy access. I'm sorry, I'm just not on Team Cookbook. Even though you just said, why do cookbooks suck so much?
No, I think that they do suck. I think there's a lot of things about cookbooks that are terrible, and I think that there's so much room for improvement, but you're right. It costs so much money, and you get so obsessed with it or obsessive when writing recipes and developing recipes. But I think that because of that, they are kind of better than food bloggers because they're more professional.
Are they? I feel like anyone could write a fucking cookbook. Like Chrissy Teigen wrote a cookbook.
Was it good?
She makes more money on them. She makes $200,000 in sales.
Yeah, but you think Chrissy Teigen actually wrote it? She probably hired a chef to do it for her and with her.
Well, let's hear that from her. Chrissy. We're waiting. She's also part of like cancel culture. Just kidding.
Did Chrissy Teigen
What do you...
Right.
She wrote cookbooks.
Yeah, but is it her own recipes?
Oh, like she had a ghostwriter?
Like a ghostwriter or somebody who actually developed the recipes.
I honestly think she does have a chef, though. Like, hands down.
Yeah, I would think she has to.
But, like, if you wrote a cookbook, I would be there doing the recipe developing. No?
It says the author of this book is Adina Sussman.
So she did
by
it right.
Chrissy Teigen.
Wait, what?
So what does that mean? Oh, maybe the author is like just someone who writes the content.
Yeah.
Anyway,
there's such thing as ghostwriters, and we know that cookbooks. So who do you think should write a cookbook, and who do you think shouldn't write a cookbook?
That's a great question. I think you should only write a cookbook if... I don't know. Who do you think should write a cookbook and who shouldn't?
Like chefs should write cookbooks.
Chefs should write cookbooks.
Old models that are married to famous musicians.
But how do you feel about... Okay, so I'm not saying anything negative about this because... I own all these books. But, like the French Laundry, Danielle, what else do I have? 11 Madison Park, those cookbooks, those big cookbooks.
Okay.
That they're huge, first of all, but they're so technical. Do you think any home cook's gonna do that? Do you
I
think home cooks pick up the EMP cookbook and they're like, I'm gonna do this
no,
and
but
I'm gonna
you
do
know
it
how
good?
expensive that cookbook is and how there was only like 1,000 sold.
I mean, someone gave me that cookbook and I've never used it. I don't even think I've ever opened it.
That's horrible because there's like people waiting for that cookbook.
I know.
And now they have to go eat at a vegetarian restaurant. So that's that. So I will tell you what I love about those books are the pictures, one, but also the storyline of each recipe because most of them do have like storylines of like why they wrote
say
it.
why they wrote this book or why they picked this recipe.
I don't think people at home are going to make the recipe, but I do think that home chefs like us, like we're home reading the recipes and stuff, we feel connected to the chef in some way. I think it's like a connection thing.
And inspiration.
Yeah, I think, and I don't know, it's like having a Playboy magazine from like the 70s. Like now we have
I don't can you explain that to me how they're related?
like it's a collectible.
Yeah.
It's like it's what you have it because you need it. Like I have so many books on aromatherapy and I don't read it every day, but I know I have it there and I know it's going to be there. And if I have a headache.
Yeah, I have books on mushroom foraging and I'm not exactly going out mushroom foraging.
Exactly. So it's a collectible. Those books are collectibles. The famous chefs that and the flavor Bible, they also have other kind of like that stem off of the flavor Bibles. I think they're like collectibles even though I use that book. I haven't used it in a while, but I have used it.
Have you used this book?
Talk.
Sorry, have you used this book? It's called. No, I'm trying to find it on. So I'm 1 second.
You could look. We're looking into our. Nicole has a huge bookshelf of just books. Of cookbooks. Even though she literally just said cookbooks suck. But. Did you read the book Sweet Bitter? Did you try to watch the show?
No and no.
Do you know anything about it?
So how do I even watch the show? I bought the book, I read some of it, and then I just kept falling asleep because every time I try to read a book like that, I don't know why.
Me and Nicole were asked the other night if we read, and we both said no. And he like did it. He was like, "Oh, okay."
Like there are
cookbooks.
things that like I look at cookbooks, but I'm not exactly reading the recipes. Or I think that if it's a learning moment, then I will read it. But otherwise, it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. No. So this is the one I wanted to ask you if you know the Spice Companion. It's a guide to the world of spices.
I feel like I heard of this.
So it's from Lior, from Le Boite.
Okay.
So I know you've met him before because he's best. You've seen him. You've met him. But
I've met him.
I really like this book because whereas I know the Flavor Bible is really a great book and it can help you like
But it's
understand
about the whole world, like everything.
But it's kind of like not a lot of information, scientific or not scientific, but this book I really like because, for example, like I'll open up anise and you can see like when it's harvested, where it comes from, traditional uses, tasting notes, recommended pairings. So I think that this is more helpful than the Flavor Bible, and the pictures are kind of cool. The Flavor Bible to me is fine.
There's no pictures in the Flavor Bible.
Yeah. But this one, like, okay, I'm going to turn to a different page. And then there's some recipes, but barely. Like soft.
But there aren't recipes on there. It's just a guide on
Here?
how to use the spices.
I think so. I think there's like 6 recipes or something in this book. But this is like cubeb. It's a kind of like a spicy pepper.
Uh-huh.
But it'll talk about like where you can eat it. I don't know. It seems it's much more informational, and I feel like that I remember those things a lot better.
Yeah.
Than just, not that I'm just sitting here and reading every single thing, which actually maybe I won't, or maybe I will. But here, this isn't even a recipe. It's just a picture of something you could do with it, I guess. one thing that this tells you, I don't know if anybody wants to say this fact of the day.
Let's give it.
Did you know that pink peppercorns are actually not part of the peppercorn family?
Oh, yeah?
They're completely different species.
Do they just call it pink peppercorn because it looks like a peppercorn?
Yeah, and because it's like a little bit spicy. But there is technically like a stage in pepper that it does turn pink, but that's not this. Like pink peppercorn is something completely different. Just letting you know.
My dad didn't know what pink peppercorn was, and I bought it because I was doing a recipe with it. And
Did he love it?
yeah, he uses it all the time.
I love it. I could even snack on them. Is that bad? That's disgusting.
You do it on pickled peppercorn too, right?
Yeah.
Snack on it.
I don't know why. I just really like crazy like fragrances.
So I actually asked our listeners on our Instagram, follow us at Quiche My Ass Pod, Quiche My Ass Pod. And I asked them, what's your favorite cookbook? And it's so funny because somebody wrote the Whole Fish Cookbook, and I've been staring at the Whole Fish Cookbook this whole entire time. So it's just funny that they
Who
said
wrote that?
Erin. Shout out to Erin.
Like my old roommate, Erin?
Yeah, your old
Oh,
roommate.
really? That's
Yeah,
funny.
so the Whole Fish Cookbook, can you pull it out so you can see? We'll give you guys a little brief reading of the...
You want to read this one since I've been doing all the talking?
Oh, I don't know how to read.
Okay. So the Whole Fish Cookbook is cool because it shows you how to scale, gut. I mean, I've done
Each
quite
fish or...
different types of fish.
Yeah, because I always feel like a lot of people need that.
Because every fish is different. And this is like, you can tell if your fish is frozen and how to look if it's freezer burned. How to store your fish if you want to dry it and age it, or if you just want to cook it like tomorrow.
See, that's awesome.
This is one maybe you guys probably wouldn't like, but how to use the entire fish. So like skewers with the cheeks or different stuff like that. Talks a lot about sardines and anchovies, which some people don't like, but I'm obsessed with. And then it's also recipes. So I think that you should borrow this one.
I should. I actually might. Because it's not that I feel uncomfortable with fish, but I'd rather just buy a whole fillet than just buy, like, a whole fish than buying, like, fillets of fish.
I mean, it's a better quality for sure if you do that.
The family that I work for, the first time I worked, I went to the fish guy, and I was like, let me just get a side of salmon. Okay. Found out family loves salmon. So I was like, okay, let me get a fillet and a half of fish. It wasn't even enough. I was like, what?
For how many people?
It doesn't even matter. Cause like
They just love it.
They could eat so much salmon, and I'm like, and I could even have a piece of salmon. So I'm just like, what the hell? Like, so now I have to buy at least 3 fillets of salmon. And
For 4 people?
no,
for...
it varies. It's like 6, sometimes it's 9, sometimes it's 4. And honestly, it depends on like how people are feeling and eating that day.
Mm-hmm.
So like, some days I feel like yes, they're eating so much, and other times I'm like, they're not eating. So, yeah. But I want to go back to our listeners. Someone wrote The Southern Ground, a reclaiming flavor through stone milled flour, the baking book.
Okay.
I feel like I would love this book, but at the same time, I would struggle because I'm just not in bread at all. Like, don't know it. There's 288 pages, and it's 2.8 pounds.
Why do you know that?
It says it on Amazon. That's so cool.
So I know that you put a vote for people to say if they like podcasts or not podcasts. If they
I hope you guys are liking podcasts.
Yeah, I hope that if you're listening, you are interested. No, but if they like food blogs or cookbooks better.
Cookbooks won.
Cookbooks won.
Cookbooks won.
By how many points?
Not many people voted. But it won by 5 times the vote.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So cookbooks are the winner.
Cookbooks are the winner. I think that's crazy. I don't know. I really, really enjoy just looking at videos. But I guess I'm like...
But how many I think that YouTube cooking videos are really informational. Like if there's something I'm not sure how to do or like a different pasta shape I want to learn, then it is easier for me because I am a visual learner to just watch the video.
Yeah, I guess that's why I'm a visual learner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So, anything else you want to say about cookbooks before we get into our next segment?
One more thing I do want to tell you. If I want you to guess what my first cookbook was. If you had to guess.
Like
You can literally see all my cookbooks right now, except I've messed them up because I pulled quite a few out.
Your first ever cookbook?
My first ever cookbook.
Marimoto?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I probably told you that.
Because you talk about him all the time.
I am such a nerd. I don't know why. I feel like I would never even work
Where
at
does he
that
even
restaurant.
live? You want to just like go knock on his door and be like, hey, we have a podcast.
Hi, Masahiro Morimoto.
I want to be your friend.
I want to be
your
your
assistant
friend.
or something. Just anything.
Just anything. Please, just cook for me.
Please come on our podcast.
No, but it's interesting because I've eaten at his restaurant and, you know, it wasn't the best restaurant I've ever been to. But
because he wasn't cooking.
Yeah. But something about it, I'm obsessed.
People are obsessed with that restaurant, though.
Yeah, they are.
And I've never been. Was it expensive? It's expensive, right?
It wasn't that bad.
No.
I've definitely been to more expensive sushi restaurants.
Yeah.
But it wasn't cheap. But my sister got me a gift card, so I went.
I also want to just go back to the cookbooks. Do you think... Well, I went back to saying, like, who should write a cookbook and who shouldn't write a cookbook. But every celebrity chef out there has a cookbook.
Yeah.
Do you think that they need to have a cookbook?
No, but I think it's something that celebrity chefs, like, once they write a cookbook, that means they're, like, critically acclaimed or something. It's a different benchmark.
I don't know.
But I
just feel like there's enough cookbooks out there. Like, stop coming out with them.
But I think that chefs need to pay better attention to their cookbooks because some of them are great, but they could be better.
That's why you go on food blogs, because you see the reviews and you see if they need to add more salt or more baking soda or anything.
That's true, because if you do, it's like a collaborative. Everybody can add in whatever they think about the recipe.
But also, I think a lot of people, when they're doing recipes in the cookbooks, they don't realize that some of these chefs are using the best quality stuff. And, like, their pound of butter is not equivalent to your pound of butter.
Or the vinegar that you bought is not the same vinegar that I bought.
Yeah. Or, oh, I don't have white wine vinegar. I have red wine. I'll just use that. You know what I mean? Like,
I think that's another thing that cookbooks should include is, like, for example...
a shopping list.
A shopping list.
That would be fun.
And what are other things that, like, substitutes? Like, what if a French recipe calls for creme fraiche and my mom at home is like, I can't make this recipe because I just don't have creme fraiche. I just cannot do it.
She doesn't know what creme fraiche is.
She doesn't know what it is. She doesn't know what an alternative could be.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you very easily could have used yogurt or you could have used sour cream and it would have been still not identical, but it would have worked. And I think that that's something cookbooks do lack because so often cookbooks...
So you want to create a cookbook within a cookbook.
No, that was just me being stupid calling it the cookbook. But it's like a guide to cookbooks.
Like to write a cookbook.
No. A guide for readers. I don't know how to explain it.
Oh
okay.
my god.
I don't know how to explain it.
We're tired. We're
no,
so
but
sorry.
a guide for readers who want to learn how to cook better, but their recipes are not coming out the way they thought in cookbooks. And so it would just be telling them, what needs to happen. And if they read this first, then maybe they'll have a better understanding of all cookbooks. A more general understanding or a general knowledge.
But if it's a shitty cookbook, it's a shitty cookbook.
Yeah, well, I've met quite a few of those.
You met them? You met the fucking cookbook?
Yeah, I have.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I'm Nicole. I'm Cookbook.
I'm here to edit your cookbooks and write all your mistakes. Do you want to go into our next segment?
I guess. Let's go into our next segment, which is Munchbox. Everyone's favorite time of the day. I didn't know there was a Cafe Baloo cookbook. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
There's Chef Danielle has a lot of cookbooks. Cafe Balloon cookbook is, I don't know, I have my favorite cookbooks of his. That one is really, it's a great book. It has really great recipes, but there are some crazy ingredients that most home cooks like just wouldn't have.
Like Celtus.
Like Celtus, or I don't know if I could give an example. Like the Cavaillon melon, which is a beautiful melon, but
I thought I found it the other day, by the way. I was at Cinderella, and I was like, oh my gosh, is this the beautiful melon? And I went to go open it up, and it was a fucking honeydew.
but it's a great cookbook, but there are some recipes in there where it's like I would never be able to make this at home if I wasn't already a chef.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Okay, so today, changing the topic completely, I want you to taste these Oreos.
Oh, they're Oreos.
Yeah. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I just spit it out.
I love Oreos. Absolutely love Oreos.
So, but taste it and let me know.
I'm a double stuffed kind of girl.
You are a double stuffed kind of girl. I actually don't even like the stuffing. I prefer the cookie.
They're stale because you left them out.
They've been out for like an hour and they're already stale because it's so humid in New York.
I told you they were going to be stale. I also love a stale Oreo.
So, these are gluten-free Oreos, not regular Oreos.
Okay.
Can you tell?
No. They're also vegan.
Yeah. I mean, why doesn't Oreo just make all of their Oreos gluten-free? Like, it literally tastes exactly the same.
Oh, you're giving me another one?
What do you think the center is made of?
I don't know. When I found out that they were vegan, I was like, not shocked. What is it? Just powdered sugar? And oil?
Powdered sugar and like
oil. Sorry, guys. That was my water bottle.
First ingredient, sugar. Second, white rice flour. There's also no chocolate in these, from my understanding.
What?
But I'm going to read that. Then is tapioca starch, palm oil, canola oil, whole oat flour, cornstarch. I'm a total liar because there's cocoa. Inverted sugar, soy lecithin, baking soda, salt, xanthan gum, chocolate, and artificial flavor. What do you think one serving size of Oreo cookies is?
I see it in the front. One. Is it 2 cookies is 160 calories? 3 cookies.
3.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
I made, and going back to the first person that we talked about today, Half Baked Harvest, she made cookies and cream cookies with like malt powder and like crushed up Oreos in it. And I made it and it was so good. It was so good.
Is that the cookies that the kids you're cooking for loved?
Mm-mm. No, that wasn't the one. But they love those too. But they were so good. Like, just chopped up Oreos and a chocolate chip cookie.
Do you think you could make your own Oreos?
I think so. I think I should.
That would be fun.
I'll make that this week.
I think, do you really like the center, the double stuff?
I love double. I like any kind of Oreo. Shout out to Oreos. You guys are amazing. But when are you coming up with the espresso Oreo? You have every other filling, but no espresso filling.
Wow.
Tiramisu? Like anything. Make it. There's no coffee flavored Oreos. Every time I go, it's like the peanut butter ones are great. Oh my God, the Trader Joe's peanut butter stuffed Oreo dipped in chocolate and then peanut butter drizzle on top.
But do you think that they don't do coffee because they're like marketing to kids and kids don't drink coffee?
It's nice that they're marketing to kids, but I'm not a kid and I'd eat it. You would eat it.
I would eat it.
I like coffee flavored things.
What do you think about the thin ones?
I like the thin ones.
I like the crispy thin ones.
I like the thin ones. I like, they're called Slim Joe's at Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's knows how to do a good Oreo. And then there's another brand that I like that's called like Good Girl Cookies or something like that. It's at Whole Foods. They're vegan and gluten free.
And they're chocolate like this.
Yeah, and then they do the chocolate fudge stripes, the ones that
Those are good. Okay, so we want to hear from our guests what their favorite cookbooks are, right? Like, we want to hear some feedback.
yeah.
More than what we've already gotten, because we asked, I think, like, right before the podcast started.
Yeah, exactly. Love to know. Maybe we could go in depth. Maybe we could talk to somebody that has written a cookbook.
Yeah.
And see how hard it is. Because we know it's hard. We know it's not like you just come up with a bunch of recipes and then that's it.
Yeah, it's hard because you have to be thoughtful about the layout and not to do two of the same things or use too many of the same ingredients or whatever, but
whatever.
I also think we need to stop buying cookbooks of, I have the worst cookbook that I have. I don't know why I still have it. Never mind. I'm not going to repeat this.
Wait, no, tell me. Tell me.
I don't know. I have so many cookbooks that people give me because they're like, oh, you're a chef, so any cookbook will do. And it's not really the case. One, I did forget to mention, I love the Food Lover's Companion. Have you ever had that one?
I've heard of it.
It's kind of like a dictionary, but it gives you...
She can't get it out.
I think this was my second cookbook from one of my friends. Who's someone who used to be my friend? Do I still have it? Mizuna. I'm just gonna say Mizuna. It's like, hailing from Japan, this feathery, delicate salad green can be found in farmers markets and specialty produce markets from spring through summer. It's often found in mesclun mixes, and it tells you different names for it, how long you can store it, what you have to do. But it's so many things. That's just one kind of lettuce. But this is almost like a dictionary, and it gives you a lot of answers. So, executive chef. It says, C, brigade system. Okay, that's stupid. Coffee. Look, it has a whole page on coffee. Anyways, I think that's enough about cookbooks.
Definitely enough time about cookbooks.
I think Dahlia's falling asleep on me today.
No, it's not. It's just like cookbooks. Like I get it, but I don't get it. Food bloggers all the way. Shout out.
We need to find a food blogger.
I know a few.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. Thanks, guys, for listening.
Thanks, guys, for listening to our podcast today. I know we haven't mentioned it in a while, but I wanted to let everyone know that my good friend Alex Katz made our jingle today. So if you're interested in getting a jingle for your own podcast or for any other reason, commercials, whatever you want to do, let me know. I can connect you with him. But have a great week. See you soon.
Yeah, and quiche my ass. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at quiche my ass pod. Quiche my ass pod. And subscribe to us on YouTube at quiche my ass podcast. Thank you, guys. See you next Monday.
Bye.